Hello, my wonderful role-playing peeps. This is +4 initiative bonus, or roll for initiative, whatever you want to call it. Back again, I'm actually going to give you an update. Remember the last video I talked about the character Milo, which is my halfling bard character that I'm playing in our D&D game. Well, later that evening, we actually I had to work late, so I didn't get off till 9 o'clock. So we didn't start till real late. But anyway, we did do a D&D game, or at least a resemblance of one. And I just want to give the group, give everybody a outlook of actually what happened, some funnies, things like that. So this is what happened. Game started. Remember I talked about a character named Fred the Red and, of course, Gus, which is his stuffed bear. Now, the stuffed bear is very unusual. Basically, what it is he's been knighted in this paladin monastery place. Basically, he's like the mascot. So they put him on guard duty, things like that. But he's like literally like a 12-inch tall, like stuffed bear. Now, Milo comes to town. He meets his cousin. His cousin's name is Bob, who's also another halfling. Basically, he's coming because in Milo's backstory, where he was if you remember from the last video, he was a carny. Well, in his backstory, some ruffians showed up at the carnival. They decided that they wanted basically a piece of the carnival, and Milo's dad, who owned it, didn't like that very much, so he basically told them to piss off. And they didn't like that, so they come back later that evening with 40, 50 guys and destroyed and burnt down the carnival, in the process actually killing Milo's mother and father. Milo gathered what belongings he could and got the heck out of there. Well, Milo's cousin, Bob, decided that, actually got some information on these ruffians, on these people that killed his dad, his parents. So, of course, that's a huge stereotype for role-playing D&D. My parents are dead. He's basically a 2.5 foot tall Batman. So, that uses a whip. Anyway, I get this message saying that he's got some information on them, some whereabouts, things like that. So, a couple days go by. Milo gets to this town. Name escapes me. Sorry. Basically, he finds his cousin. Cousin tells him that he has word that these guys have actually been causing some issues up north, not too far away. He suggests that there's a couple. He suggests that he get a group together and head up north and see what they can find out. So Bob introduces him to this guy named Fred. Fred the Red. Fred the Red is a 6.5 foot tall half orc with 6 wisdom and a 6 intelligence, but a 14 charisma, which is weird. But anyway, the character is dumb, to say the least. He talks in third person. Fred do this, Fred do that. He carries a giant maul, sledgehammer, war mace, whatever you want to call it. Basically, in his backstory, I might actually get the player I might do a little bit of an interview at one point and get this player to actually discuss Fred the Red. Now, don't get me wrong, Fred the Red is, I'm not going to be able to do him justice. Let's put it that way. But they strike up a conversation. They talk about what's going on, and they decide that they're going to go up north. And there's another character who's playing another halfling, and has to do with some tribe up north that's in Fred's backstory that's close to where Milo wants to go. And this guy he needed to talk to Fred about doing a rematch, like some kind of sparring fighting match that happened a couple of years ago, and this other guy, the chieftain of this place, wants a rematch, so he sent this character down to talk to Fred to secure this rematch. So that's another rope in for another character. He's playing a halfling ranger, longbow specialist, because everybody knows in 3.5 rangers can do one of two things. They either are a 2-weapon fighter, or they're the ranger. They are the actual longbow, crossbow ranged character. He's going with the actual ranged character concept. So they have a couple of nights of, light role play where Milo actually gets hired on at the local tavern. I roll very well on my profession bard and wind up making about 15, 20 gold. And my character, once again, is not a singer. He doesn't play an instrument. He's a storyteller. So essentially what he done was he spun these tales about how, since Fred the Red is like a local celebrity, spun this massive tale about how Fred the Red wrestled a red dragon to the ground and gave it a noogie until it cried uncle, and he, just for good measure, let it go because he's not that kind of person. So this is the kind of antics that went on that night. So they wind up the next day, a couple of days, they wind up leaving. Big thing that happened there is that Bob and a couple other people told Milo that Gus, which is the bear, the stuffed bear, who has like little tiny bitty, like, full plate mail armor and stuff like that, actually goes on guard duty and actually gets an initiate assigned to him every morning. The way I'm playing this character is like, nah, man, no, that's BS. No, nobody does that. Really. Come to find out, they do. This messes with my character's head. He's like, are these people crazy or are they just messing with me? Is that what's going on? Are they just somebody messing with me? I think that's what's going on. Sorry, the light fell off. I'm sorry. He's like, somebody's messing with me. Come to find out, nobody's messing with him at all. They literally put this bear on guard duty. Milo blows his mind. I spent 20 minutes in game discussing with the GM who was playing Bob, which is my other character, which is Bob's cousin, freaking out. Like, you're kidding. Like, why haven't you robbed these people blind? Because they're retarded, apparently. Come to find out, there's something going on with the bear. And when the bear's there, you can't move it for some reason. And if it's guarding a certain place, you can't enter unless you're a member. So there's something weird, iffy going on with this bear that Fred don't know anything about, and Bob is freaking out about because he did try to rob the place and couldn't. So Milo's slowly forming an idea of like what's going on here. But anyway, I digress. We'll move forward. They move forward. They keep going on their little journey going up north. Their first night out, they actually find another party member in the woods. He's playing a elf rogue who got in a snare trap. So we find him upside down in a tree asking for help. So we cut him down, discussions ensue. He winds up joining the group. Apparently he's some kind of assassin that was not allowed into the Assassin's Guild for some reason. So there's an issue, some kind of backstory-ish thing going on there that's not been revealed yet. So we progress on a little bit farther and we make camp. A couple days later, we make camp. And Bob is actually a chef. The GM actually found a venture chef. It's a homebrew class on D&D wiki, and created this character that is my cousin, which is Bob. He's a chef, a adventuring chef, and essentially what he does is he's making dinner, and it smells very well. Well, there is this traveling hobo of a cleric, which is another player who smells it. And now to back up just a little bit, Fred got a piece of wood, made a pedestal, and set it at the entrance to the camp, pointed toward the road, and set Gus there, and said, "Guard," and walks off. Well, this traveling hobo of a cleric shows up because he smells this wonderful food, but he stops at the bear and kneels down and asks permission to enter. The wind hits the bear, and the bear kind of slumps over, and the traveling hobo of a cleric says, okay, I'll take that as a yes, and comes in. You know, information ensues and people talk and blah, 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 blah. Yay, new party member. Cats are now officially herded. Awesome. Well, one of the other players had to leave. The ranger character had to leave, so he's scouting ahead. So he moved on forward ahead, so blah, blah, blah. Well, we get to this encampment where the stronghold, if you will, of the place that we were going to where Bob was going to have his rematch. Well, we get there, we start talking, we wind up in Bob's backstory. I mean, not Bob's, but in Fred's backstory, they're dealing with this dude. There's a demon horn involved, and there is a coin purse involved. Well, this guy has been using bits and pieces of the demon horn in an attempt to extend his life. He's a half-orc. He's a half-orc shaman, and he's trying to extend his life. Well, this flips Milo out because there's only one thing that happens when somebody tries to extend their life. They become a lich. So that's essentially what Milo thinks. He's not said it yet, but that's what Milo thinks. So they discuss what's going on, and that's basically where the game ended. So it was very entertaining. We played this for a couple hours. I didn't have long. I was tired. I'd worked all day long, and then went home and got a message. It was like, hey, come play D&D. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired, but okay. So we get to play a little bit. We didn't get to play much. But it was enough to get an intro. No XP was given, and we didn't really do anything. But we just kind of soft RP herding cats, if you will, getting the party together, herding cats. So that's where we're Milo, Proudfoot, and on a side note, Milo was voted as party leader, which blew his mind, but okay. So he's party leader now. Basically what happened is the rogue and the cleric were wanting to make Fred the leader, and Fred said, well, Gus gets a vote, and they hit a bump in the road, and the bear slumps over, but it's toward Milo. And Fred took it as, well, Milo has to be the leader. So his vote went for Milo, and Bob's like, Milo. So it's 3 against 2, so Milo becomes the party leader. Milo's like, awesome, great. This is the best idea that you people have ever had. So that's where we're sitting at right now when it comes to the D&D game. I highly enjoyed it, and I hope to continue these and tell you the adventures of Milo Proudfoot. I hope that everyone will enjoy them as I post about it. So, before we're in, because we're sitting at about 13 minutes right now, where we're going to end is this. Friday, every other Friday, I'm going to be doing a Mutants and Masterminds video. Basically, I will be telling, what the group done, what they're up to, what's going on, some ideas that I've had, things of that nature. That's essentially what that's going to be. Also, a friend of mine had an idea for a Mutants and Masterminds game. It's still set in our game and everything like that, but he had an idea for a musical game. So essentially what would happen would be normal. If you ever watched a musical before, a good musical, that, they have normal dialogue, and then all of a sudden the music cue hits and they sing, and they've got to sing out what's going on. And I just think it would be just a fun little funny side note to most of the time my Mutants and Masterminds game is kind of serious. Most of the time. This would be a good side jump when it comes to the musical game. And if you think it's a good idea, post and like the message and share it, of course. Once again, we're up on about 14 and a half minutes. So I'm going to end the video right here, but just know that everyone, that I am a GM and I am a player, and I am here for you.